What we made use of here is Flow. I'm not sure if everyone is familiar in the audience with Flow. Flow is an abstraction on top of GenStage. It kind of acts like a stream where you can take in a source of data and then fan out and have loads of processes basically act on that stream of data. So it's a really great use case in our case for, we basically stream the entirety of a DynamoDB table and then fan out with loads and loads of processes, taking those DynamoDB records, translating them into Postgres and then inserting them into the Postgres database. So Flow is a great tool for data processing, and I'll show you a little snippet of Flow code and how easy it can be to use something like this in your own code base as well. But our largest table was 9 million records, and in total to sync every single table, so about 22 tables in the system, it took us about an hour of downtime. So we had to turn off the old database, shut down all the system, basically turn on all these data migration tasks, wait an hour for everything to finish, and then turn on the new system. Don't do that. Don't ever do that. It wasn't a good idea, but it kind of worked for us. So how we implemented this was, we basically have all these schemas that are really thin wrappers around DynamoDB tables. So you might actually recognize this because it looks a lot like Ecto. So we wrote a really simple wrapper that acts like an Ecto kind of schema. So we can define lots of different types here. So this thing will do all of our type coercion from strings into the appropriate types for us as well. Made it a bit easier to deal with some of this data. So we defined lots of these schemas like this, and then what we have is a bunch of Flow code here. So I'm going to spend like a couple of minutes and just walk through this just to, so everyone understands it. The statics.measure part is for us is how we get statistics and stats off of this kind of function call, and then inside of that, what we're doing is we're saying scan from the Dynamo table. So a scan will basically say, give us lots and lots of information, and we do that we do a limit here of a certain amount. So we'll put, each table differed on the amount we needed to scan at a time, depending on the size of the data set. So we basically start the stream off by scanning the table, and then we start the Flow process here. So Flow has this thing called from enumerable, which is from, as you might imagine, from a list or something, and then that turns it into a stream, and then we're mapping over that, turning each one of those things that's coming from DynamoDB into one of those Dynamo structs that I showed you before. And then we basically partition, so what we're saying is for all of those things, we partition by the IDs and then we fan out to lots and lots of processes. And then each one of those processes in turn is then calling a function that's taking that Dynamo schema and turning it into a Postgres schema and inserting it. I know that's a lot, so I can answer questions at the end, and honestly, I wish I had more time, otherwise I could go through lots and lots more of this. But if you want to speak about this, grab me after the talk. And then what that from record looks like. So this is the function that took the Dynamo schema and then turns it into a Postgres schema and then inserts it into Postgres. So we're basically doing lots and lots of those in parallel, as many as we can do. And we spent a really long time kind of tuning the workload so we could do this really quickly and efficiently. So lots and lots of like per table tweaks and configuration needed to do this kind of thing. But every single thing that we did here, we ran in its own Docker container. So all of these table processes are running in parallel at once. So we're parallel processing and then parallel inserting all these different records. And we basically just got like the biggest Postgres box we could get and just let it go wild. And yeah, and that's how we did like, I think it was like 20 million records, and that's how we did that in an hour and 10 minutes. So very, very cool. Elixir has many tricks up its sleeve. So Flow is part of the GenStage library, I believe, but I could be wrong, is it? No, it's separate. Thanks, James. He gave me a nod. So it's really worth looking at if you're doing kind of like these large data processing workloads. You don't need something more like a Hadoop or some of those bigger MapReduce kind of jobs, because Flow is effectively doing a lot of that for you. But everything here, we kept running this thing weekly, kept dumping all this data. We were doing trial runs all the time to try and make this process smooth, because, you know, taking all of your customers' data and moving it to a new database is